My grandfather stated in his interview he was willing to sacrifice his life and do whatever he needed to do to protect our country. Today I am grateful to be able to speak to you about my grandfather, Jesse N. Udall, about his background, living during some major historical events, and his life as of now. My grandpa is one amazing man with so much to offer about himself and life during the Great Depression and World War II. Today I will discuss my grandpa's background and roots, living during the Depression, his experience in World War II, and his life as of now. Now that I have you anxious to learn about my grandpa, I will begin with the basics of where he came from. He was born in St. John's, Arizona on January 27, 1926, and then moved to Phoenix, Arizona when he was 10 months old. They lived in St. John's because his dad was a farmer/rancher, and he was a man capable of many different assignments. While he was there, he was elected into the Apache County of northeastern Arizona, and after that assignment, he was elected to be the Prohibition Administrator. Therefore, that meant the family had to move to Phoenix. There were a total of 11 kids in his family, and he loved it that way. I asked him how it was having that many children in the family in such a small house, and he said that it was always a lot of fun, and that they had to learn to love each other in such tight quarters, and accept that they would never get much material things because of how many children they had. My grandfather and whole family grew up as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He loved growing up as a member and believes it taught him many life values, and it brings him much joy and happiness. He chose to serve a full-time mission in London, England for 2 years, and is very grateful for that experience he had serving the Lord and bringing others unto Christ. He then attended ASU for college and met the love of his life there. They were married and ended up having 5 children, 28 grandchildren, and 20 great-grandchildren, with more on the way. While at ASU, he was pursuing a teaching degree because he really found a love and passion for it. My Grandpa Jess's life may have seemed all grand and glory, but he was one of the many who was hit hard by the Great Depression. Jesse Udall was about 2 years old when the Great Depression started, but he still remembers how hard it was for the family. According to Smiley, the Great Depression was severe in the United States in the year 1933. 25% of all workers, 37% of all non-farm workers were out of work, including my grandfather's parents. At the start of the Depression, his father still had his position in the government as a Prohibition Administrator. Therefore, it gave them some comfort knowing that he had a steady job. With 11 kids in the family, money is always tight. Once the Prohibition law was abolished in 1933, his father did not have that job anymore and resorted back to farming. Since they had the farm, they were able to get by on food with what they grew and processed, so he mentioned that they were never starved. Overall, they were able to live day to day, never without food, and believed they were blessed with this from living righteously and being blessed with a farm. Making it out alive of the Great Depression, my grandfather enrolled into the Navy of World War II after high school. My grandfather was a sophomore in high school when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened in 1941. Then he waited to finish high school before he joined the Navy. To backtrack a little bit, Jesse was planning on going to the Navy as soon as he graduated to be with his brother and help out in the country. In late May, his brother King actually got struck by lightning and was killed. Therefore, the government gave him 6 months deferment so he could be with his parents during the loss and help out with the family farm. In Goodwin's book, he mentions a quote from Franklin Roosevelt on the lack of Navy. "It is terribly important for the control of the Atlantic," Roosevelt told Ix on the 1st of July, "for us to help keep peace in the Pacific. We simply have not got enough Navy to go around, and every little episode in the Pacific means fewer ships in the Atlantic." My grandfather, knowing that there was a shortage in the Navy, decided that he would like to help out in that area where it was needed. After his 6 months of deferment, he entered the Navy and began his long journey of boot camp and training. He did about 10 weeks in San Diego of boot camp, and then he moved to Mississippi to do another 10 weeks of training on the ships. He was assigned to a new ship in Long Beach, and he was prepared to go out on the next day to get into the fields of August 1945. That night, he saw many people out dancing and cheering and having a good time, and so he picked up a newspaper and saw that the U.S. dropped the A-bomb on Japan. After that had happened, he spent another year in the Navy doing inside work. I asked him if he was ever scared to go out onto the field, and he said that he was a little apprehensive, but he was willing to sacrifice his life if it meant that would help bring world peace. Being able to bypass actually going into the field for World War II, he ended up becoming a teacher and principal, raising an incredible family, and has some great advice. Jesse Udall has become a very well-known and lovable man for all his good deeds and Christ-like attitude. After the war, he attended ASU and graduated with a master's degree in teaching. Aside from being a teacher, he has always loved to take care of all his animals and grow the most amazing grapefruit and orange trees. His whole life he has been a very faithful member to his religion and has served many callings throughout the years, ranging in all different responsibilities. Some advice he had for the future generations was that the key to life was to strive to be happy, and that you make what life is. He also suggested to us to always stay close to our Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ, for when we have them with us, we can feel true happiness and joy. I really hope you enjoyed learning about my grandpa today, because he is a man very dear to my heart. Today I shared with you 4 different sections of my grandfather's life. First, his background in childhood. Next, how his family made it through the Depression. Then we got into more detail on his actions and feelings of World War II, and ended with an overview of his life today, and advice that he has. And as I mentioned earlier, he stated that he would sacrifice everything for the country, and I hope that you could see through this speech that exemplified and put into perspective. Thank you.